Hey, Life Christian Academy. This is Principal and Director of Spiritual Life, Aaron Gentile, and I want to welcome you to a very special chapel experience today. With our theme being unity, I thought it would be very appropriate this year to talk about how an event can unify a country, can unify a nation. And with 9/11 being the day that this is being released, I wanted to talk about our historic event on 9/11. But I don't want to talk about the tragedy. I don't want to talk about the evil. What I want to center around today when we talk about unity is how the country, our nation, was united in its response with service and love and sacrifice. So we are going to have a fantastic Zoom interview with some students and a retired Army Master Sergeant. And we're going to hear some stories of heroes from that day, September 11th, 2001. And I just really wanted to encourage you that we're going to stand united this year at Life Christian Academy. Here we go, Eagles.
On Tuesday morning of September 11th, 2001, at 8:45 a.m., the United States suffered a terrorist attack when airplanes crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center, also known as the WTC, in New York City. As history unfolded before a stunned nation, it was discovered that 4 planes were taken by men with evil intentions. 3 of these planes crashed into their targets. 1 was stopped by heroes that were on the plane. As we think about our school theme of unity, let's remember the heroes of this tragic day 19 years ago.
Okay. William Rodriguez, World Trade Center maintenance worker. Rodriguez was in the basement of North Tower when American Airlines Flight 11 crashed into the tower. Having keys to all emergency exits, Rodriguez has been credited with bravely leading firefighters up the stairs, unlocking doors as they climbed, helping to save hundreds of people.
Benjamin Clark, chef, former Marine. This former Marine and chef at the Fiduciary Trust Company is credited with saving hundreds of lives, making sure that everyone on the 96th floor safely exited the building. He then paused on the 78th floor to assist a woman in a wheelchair. He perished when the building collapsed.
Maura Smith, NYPD. Smith was the only female officer among the 23 NYPD cops who died on 9/11. She led countless injured people from the Twin Towers, but in the end, died with so many other heroes in the effort to rescue more.
So hey, Life Christian Academy, this is your Director of Spiritual Life and Elementary Principal, Aaron Gentile. I'm here with some guests today, and we're going to do a very special 9/11 chapel memorial service right now, where we're going to talk about the events of 9/11 and talk about our theme of unity and how those two things really can interconnect. So I'm going to welcome some guests today. They'll get introduced as they go along, but first up is 4th grade Life Christian Academy student Ava, and she's going to start with our first question.
First, thank you, Chris, for your service to our country. Why did you decide to serve in the United States military?
Morning, Ava, and thank you. I decided to serve in the military when I was in high school. I felt very strongly that everyone should have some service to the country. Some of my friends didn't believe they were fit for the military, and they became police officers or volunteers, but I had a strong desire to just serve the country. I didn't have a long-term plan to do 20 or 30 years. I just wanted to do something for the country.
That's really cool. Thank you, Chris. And just to introduce you, this is retired Army Master Sergeant Chris, who's joined us today. His heart is for Jesus, and his heart is for unity. So his friend, actually, Denise Millis, our 4th grade teacher, is who introduced Chris to me, and we got to meet and talking about this theme and this idea. And Chris, it's really a pleasure to have you joining us today. Genesis, let's talk a little bit about this 9/11 idea.
Yes, this time of year I hear and see the phrase, remember 9/11 or 9/11, we will never forget frequently. So what is it that we should remember and what happened on 9/11?
That's a good question, Genesis. 9/11 was an attack that happened in New York back in 2001. And really what happened was a group of evildoers really had it out for the United States. And they were so committed to hurting us that they were going to fly these planes into buildings and they were going to try to hurt us where they thought it would make the most impact. So 19 guys took over 4 planes. They flew 2 of these planes into buildings into New York, the Twin Towers. One of them flew into the Pentagon, which is one of our military planning facilities. And one never made it to its target. One plane was crashed in a field near Pennsylvania. And as we talk about heroes, that would be a good person to bring up is the guy who started the effort to not let that plane hit his intended target. So that's really what happened. And when I hear people say we need to remember 9/11 or never forget, and you see the bumper stickers, well, I can say that the attack was terrible, but what followed it was one of the greatest connections in the United States that I've seen in my lifetime. So people rallied together to come together. There was true unity for quite some time. People were helping one another. There was not much concern about religion or race. It was all about helping us get through this tragedy. There were people on 9/11 were helping people that they had never seen. They were providing water. They were providing them a place to stay. They were providing whatever supplies they had. We really came together as a country, and it stuck for a long time. And so when I hear remember 9/11, I would challenge you not to focus on the attack that happened, but to really remember, or for the young kids, learn what that feeling of unity was. We came together as a country, and we moved forward to get past the attack.
Yeah, I agree, Chris. And I remember so much, I was 25 years old when this happened. And I remember how it kind of shook me to my core and made me think, watching the nation come together, watching the images of people running into danger to help and to serve and to save and to rescue. Those were the images that I remember. Those are the thoughts that I have. And when I think about remember 9/11, my heart is still pulled towards that idea that as a country, we can unite. And obviously in our theme of unity at Life Christian Academy, my hope is that in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of struggle, we can unite as a school and rise above the media, rise above the world, rise above it all, with not for our own glory, but for the glory of God and for the sake of unity in his kingdom. So thanks, Chris. That was a great summary. Jacob, you have the next question for us.
Yeah, so why is it important to remember the heroes more than the tragedy of the event like this?
Thanks, Jacob. I think that it's important to focus on the heroes because there's always going to be evil out there. There's always going to be challenges, but the heroes, whether it's at a small level at home or maybe something big like 9/11, the heroes are always going to be there. They're going to be what pull you through. They're going to help you get right back on course. So you can't change what some of these evildoers are going to do to us or to anybody else, but you can always control how you respond or how you prepare. And being ready to be a hero, I think, is a good way to just be prepared to be in service to the Lord. Mm-hmm. Right? So I would think that if you're going to be ready to be a hero, then you'll be ready to help your fellow man, whether it's a kid in class or somebody you see while you're out shopping. Those little things will pull you together and might inspire them.
That's great. And that's what we're talking about, Chris. You're absolutely right. And that's why, again, I wanted to have this conversation while our theme is unity. And today's Thursday. We're doing this interview Thursday, but tomorrow is 9/11. And we're hopefully going to share this with families tomorrow. So I want to make sure that we are pointing out the idea that we have this idea that we can be heroes as well. So Ava, what's your next question?
What can school-aged kids, kindergarten through 12th grade, learn from 9/11?
Well, Ava, I think that anyone can learn from the aftermath of 9/11. you can read about what led up to the attacks as part of history, but I think school kids could watch the response of everyone who is around the attack. You saw people. I had a friend. He was on his way to get out of the military, and he was on a subway going to New York. His goal was to sign the paperwork to say, "I'm ready to leave the military." When he got off the train, the attacks had happened. And what he chose to do in that moment is one of the things that made him a hero. He could have gotten back on the train and ran away from danger. He could have gone home and said, "I'll get out another day." But what he chose to do was to find somebody in uniform and said, "I'm a soldier, what can I do to help?" He spent the next several days on his own, partnering up with police and fire department and other military. And he removed rubble from buildings. He worked with a dog team to help find people that were trapped. He worked tirelessly for days. And he became a hero in that moment, not just because he was brave enough to help search for people, but it was that decision to not run away. He had a chance. No one would have known that he was at ground zero at that point. His decision in that moment was to go help. And I think that's something that kids could learn is when that moment arrives, if you can see what the greater good is and be ready to act, that's where you can find yourself to be a hero.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. You know, Jacob, you and I have done a few adventures together, and we've had a lot of fun. And we've also thought about what it means to serve our school. We've talked about you being a leader at our school as a middle school student. I know your family is trying to instill some leadership skills in you. So what do you think? What was your next question for Chris?
Can anyone be a hero?
Absolutely, Jacob. I think that to be a hero is not always what you might hear on news or TV. We tend to glorify some of the people that do these absolute amazing, grandiose things. And many times those are true heroes, but there's a lot of heroes that we don't talk about every day, or that we don't get to notice as frequently. And I would say anybody could be a hero, or at least be ready to be a hero by preparing yourselves. If we take up the armor of God, and if we unify our minds with the church, if we come together under the Lord, then we are in a place to be that hero. And when God is ready, he'll call us. And if you're in kindergarten or 12th grade, the chances of you pulling someone from a vehicle, pretty slim. But what you can do is encourage someone who's having a challenge in class or after class. That may just be the thing that sets them off on a better path. It may save their life. It could encourage them to help someone else. And those are heroes as well. And I will tell you in my 26 years of military service, being a hero doesn't necessarily mean just being brave. And being brave, again, is not the absence of fear. It's recognizing fear and doing what you have to do anyway. You're overcoming that fear. And again, in my 26 years, I've seen lots of guys who are portray bravery, and they're ready to do great things. But when the moment comes of tragedy or frustration, if you are ready, if your mind is prepared and you're ready to serve God, you will know it. And so I would say be a hero and to prepare yourself.
Yeah. And I think students and families who are watching this today, I want to remind you, the way to prepare is spend time with him in his word, spend time with the Lord in prayer, and then surround yourselves with other believers who are studying and getting to know Jesus and developing a relationship with Jesus, so that you are ready to serve when it's time, so that you are ready to give the word of encouragement when it's time. So let's be prepared, LCA. Let's do it now. Let's be prepared now and start serving and loving now. Genesis, you get to wrap up with our final question.
Our school theme this year is unity, and I was wondering what advice do you have for us as we try to lead our school in unity?
Hmm. That is a good question and very timely for what's going on in the world right now. Um, when we think about unity, the Bible is filled with verses about us coming together as Christians. And I would say we need to start there as followers of Christ. We need to be of one mind. We need to be that first group that can then go out. So we need to be unified ourselves. And how do we do that? Like Aaron was saying, we study, we prepare, we surround ourselves with other Christians. We're all going to try and we're all going to fail, but we're going to support each other when we fail, and we will come together and we will be stronger. So I would say, regardless of religion, of race, of gender, we can come together as Christians and be that element that spreads love. Yeah. So start with your friends, and if we follow Christ, that is what will spread.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so good. And that's why our theme is unity. That's why we're heading in that direction. That's why I believe so much in the idea that this generation, these students that are joining us, Chris, these really are the hope for our future. And they're the hope for right now, because they can lead the change that this world needs to see. They have genuine empathy and compassion. They're motivated not by selfish interest, but they are seeing a world that needs love. And so thank you, students, for being with us today. Chris, thank you again for your service to our country. And for all who are watching, we want to say a very special thank you to all first responders. And we do remember 9/11, not because of the evil that was done, but because of the incredible impact that came about in unity with our first responders, medics, firefighters, police officers that all jumped into action immediately to see what they could do to help. And so LCA students and families, let's do that this year. When we see a need, when we see an opportunity to help someone, let's practice saying yes and helping. Let that be our act of unity and love. Thank you, everyone. Let me pray, and then we'll wrap it up. So Jesus, you are good. Your mercies are new every morning. You've created everyone on this planet in your image. So help us to see people the way that you've created them. Help us to love the way that you love, to forgive the way that you forgive. Help us to walk in unity with hearts united for a better cause, for a cause of loving each other, a cause of serving over selfishness. Help us to be the best friends and encouragers that we can be at this school and in our neighborhoods. And bless and protect all of our military service members and our first responders. Help us to honor and respect them as a school and a student body. We love you, Jesus. We thank you for your continued love and protection over us. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Thanks, everyone. Be blessed. Make it a great day. Go Eagles. All right, I stopped the recording, I think.